Okay, today I'm going to be giving a tour of my video game room, or actually my video game setup, as most people do. And I'm a big fan of video gaming, and the way I chose to make this setup is to have all the systems hooked up at once, so that I don't have to do any work to play any of the systems. I do have to hit a few buttons, but that's it. So what I have here are 25 systems, and as I said, they're all hooked up and ready to play. They're all sitting in these nice trays. There are power strips along the top of the setup, and those obviously give me the power for each individual system. And you'll see switch boxes laying around the setup here. Now there are three reasons why I wanted everything to be hooked up and ready to play, and some of these may be obvious, but I'll say them anyway. Number one, it saves me time and effort whenever I want to play a particular system. I never have to worry about diving into a box and going to the back of the TV and plugging things in. All I have to do is pick a game. That's usually what takes the most amount of time, actually, picking a game. And then hit some buttons, and I'm ready to play. Another reason why I wanted everything to be plugged in at once is to reduce wear on the systems, so I'm not moving them around, banging them around in boxes and stuff like that. I was especially concerned about the ports where the wiring goes into each system, such as the AC adapter and stuff. The more you plug and unplug the systems, the more worn those ports become, and they become loose over time, and sometimes they get damaged on the inside of the system as well. So this way everything is stationary, and hopefully it'll help the systems last longer with this setup. The last reason why I chose to have a setup like this is because it looks nice to have this sitting in the room. It's kind of a shrine to... that sounds creepy, but it's kind of a shrine that shows my appreciation for video games. So I tried to make everything look nice and neat, keeping the wires pretty much under control. You can't really see the AC adapters. They're hidden along the top, and the only way you can see them is if you stand on a ladder and look up at the top. Also, I take advantage of the space as much as I can. You notice that I have game systems on all four sides of the TV, so I got a lot of systems in one space, on one wall actually, so I'd like to stay nice and organized and it looks nice. So what do I need to do to play a game on this thing? Well, all I need is the number underneath each console. That you probably already saw this. When I go to play a system, I need to look at that number, and that tells me what power button to hit, and it also tells me what buttons to hit on the switch boxes. I also have to set the TV to Video 1, Video 2, or Channel 3. And that depends on what the number of the console is. On top of the switch boxes here, you can see Video 1, Video 2, and Channel 3. And depending on what number I have, that's what I set the TV to. The reason I have it divided into 3 different channels is because I have 3 different types of signals going through this setup. For video 1, I have the S-Video signals hooked up. For composite, those are going to video 2. They can't all go to the same thing, basically. And of course, the older consoles that use the RF signals, they go to channel 3. So everything has its own way of going through, and you just have to set it that way when you go to play this. Now, the controllers on most of these systems have extension cables on them, so I can play any of these systems from the center of the room. A few of the older systems do not have the ability to have controller extensions on them, so for those systems I have it so I can pull them away from the setup and toward where I sit in the middle of the room, such as the Odyssey 2. I have the version of Odyssey 2 with the hardwired controllers. And you may be wondering why there's some missing systems here. I don't have a GameCube here, and I don't have a PS2. I have those set up on an LCD TV in my living room. The GameCube and the PS2 and the Wii and so forth. All these consoles on the CRT TV are older than a PS2. Now, you may have noticed there are 2 Sega Genesises in this setup. One has a Sega CD attached to it. One has a 32X attached to it. You may be wondering, why don't I have all 3 hooked up at once? Well, I have a Genesis that's been upgraded for S-Video output. And unfortunately, if you stick a 32X on top of that, it actually downgrades the signal to composite. So the 32X has to have its own spot, and that's why I did that. So that's the end of the tour. I'm going to be making a second video about this setup, but in that video I'm going to be more specific, and I'm going to talk about where I bought these things, just in case there's anyone out there that's interested in creating a setup that's like this. I'll talk about where I bought everything, and show some diagrams and stuff like that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.